Final video, final thoughts. What survives after the biological human? Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author, and this is the Depopulation series. Are we the last biological humans? This final video isn't about presenting more statistics or introducing another biotech development. Instead, it's about stepping back and asking a deeper, more unsettling question. What survives once the biological human is phased out? Because at this point in our journey, it's no longer theoretical. We've documented how fertility is collapsing, how artificial reproduction is being normalized, and how biological limitations are increasingly viewed as flaws to be eliminated. The systems replacing us aren't hypothetical, they're operational. And as they scale, the unedited human body becomes less necessary, less valued, and less protected. What we're seeing isn't extinction in the traditional sense, it's substitution. The slow replacement of human processes, birth, death, family, memory, with synthetic ones that promise control, efficiency, and predictability. The biological model is being edited out not because it failed, but because it's no longer considered optimal. And the truth is, for many of the systems now running our world, biology is a liability. It breaks down, it ages, it requires maintenance. It's messy, emotional, and inconsistent. AI systems don't suffer from hormonal fluctuations, reproductive cycles, or emotional crises. They don't need families, food, or faith. That alone makes them attractive to governments, corporations, and institutions that prefer precision over complexity. The depopulation we've covered throughout this series is not just about who's missing, it's about what's being erased. We are losing the foundational processes that tied us to one another through biology. Natural birth, spontaneous conception, family as a default, not an option. These are disappearing. And the replacements, ectolife, artificial wombs, genetic editing, AI nannies, aren't just changing how we reproduce. They're changing why we reproduce and for whom. As this shift accelerates, we're told that what truly matters is not the body, but the mind. That consciousness is what defines the human. That if we can upload our thoughts, preserve our memories, and simulate our personalities, the body can be discarded. In other words, humanity can survive as code. Companies like Nectome and Altos Labs are actively pursuing technologies that preserve the brain, map the self, and replicate identity. But the question isn't whether consciousness can be copied. It's whether what's copied is still you. If your body, the only home your consciousness has ever known, is gone, is the simulation still a person or just an echo? This line of questioning isn't just philosophical, it's political. The moment we accept that a digital replica is good enough, we open the door for others to decide what version of humanity is worth keeping. Biological humans age, get sick, and require support. Synthetic versions don't. That distinction alone creates a hierarchy of value, and those at the bottom of it may find themselves left behind. Even if we set consciousness aside, the loss of biology still means the loss of culture. Nearly everything we've built as a species, art, ritual, religion, family, is tied to our physical experience. Birth gives meaning to lineage. Aging gives urgency to legacy. Death gives weight to life. Once these disappear or are controlled through artificial systems, the culture built around them becomes irrelevant. A child born in a synthetic pod and raised by AI is not going to carry the same cultural inheritance as one raised in a family with grandparents and rituals passed down across generations. Language, too, is fading. With predictive text, voice assistants, and brain-computer interfaces on the horizon, we're witnessing the slow death of organic expression. When thoughts can be transmitted directly, without speech, what happens to poetry? To nuance? To silence? Language is one of the few tools that has allowed humans to build trust, form alliances, and express emotion across time and space. Without it, there is no persuasion, no storytelling, no history, only data transfer. And that's not communication, that's instruction. Some argue that evolution demands this shift. That clinging to the biological is like resisting the printing press in favor of oral tradition. That resistance to synthetic reproduction, AI integration, and digital consciousness is simply fear of progress. But the issue isn't evolution, it's consent. Most of this transition is happening without public debate. Fertility is falling not by choice, but through chemicals, stress, and environmental degradation. Artificial reproduction is expanding not because people prefer it, but because natural conception is becoming harder. AI companions are replacing human intimacy not because they're better, but because they're easier to access, cheaper to maintain, and don't require emotional labor. No one voted for this. It's simply happening, embedded in convenience, masked as innovation, and sold as progress. So what survives? Some would say legacy survives. That human history, uploaded and preserved, ensures we never really disappear. But data without descendants is storage, not legacy. Legacy requires transmission, not just preservation. It needs someone on the other side to receive it, interpret it, and continue it. If we reach a point where there are no more natural humans to pass things to, no children born from love, no families bound by memory, then what we're left with is not humanity. It's an archive. Others argue that ethics will survive, that we can program values into machines. But ethics are the product of experience. They come from watching someone suffer, from being betrayed, from loving someone fragile. If we remove fragility, we remove empathy. If we eliminate suffering, we eliminate moral development. You can't encode compassion into a being that doesn't feel pain. And the more we outsource our decision-making to algorithms, the more detached we become from the consequences of those decisions. What about identity? In the age of customizable children, AI partners, and body enhancements, identity becomes fluid. But when everything can be edited, does anything remain authentic? If you can choose your personality, your face, your function, even your consciousness, what anchors you? What grounds you in a reality that others share? This is the cost of substitution. Not the end of humanity, but the end of what grounded it. At the beginning of this series, we asked if we were the last biological humans. And by now, the answer should be clear. We are not the last to be born, but we are the last to live entirely within the boundaries of unedited biology. We are the last generation for whom reproduction was a default, not a decision. The last to grow up without genetic optimization, without AI monitoring, without the expectation that we must be engineered to deserve existence. Our children may still have bodies, but they will not be born of biology alone. They will be built, screened, improved, and tracked. Their value will not come from being human, but from being compatible with systems, with machines, with markets. And over time, the human template itself will be rewritten until nothing remains that wasn't chosen. Depopulation, then, is not death. It's divergence. It's a shift away from evolution into fabrication. A world where life is no longer an accident of nature, but a product of design. And in that world, those of us still bound to biology become relics. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a choice: to preserve what cannot be copied, to honor what cannot be optimized, to recognize that being human was never about efficiency, perfection, or immortality. It was about limitation. The very limits we are now rushing to erase are the ones that gave our lives meaning. You can't engineer love. You can't digitize sacrifice. And you can't simulate the mystery of a child born from two people who never expected to fall in love, but did. What survives in the end is what we choose to protect. And if we choose nothing, we should not be surprised when everything is lost. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing. And no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones. The replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans. The merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.